As you look at your screen, I don't want you to blink. I don't want you to stop paying attention even for a second. Because what you are about to witness is the moment when a good upbringing meets or collides with the culture. And when I say the culture, I mean the death culture that is the prevailing social order of the African American community. We're not just talking about a murder here. We're talking about the total collapse of the American home, the nuclear family, and specifically the nuclear black family, and the glorification of a lifestyle that ultimately leads nowhere but the grave. Charles Jones, better known as Julio Foolio, that's his rap name, spent years dancing on the graves of his enemies. He would make songs and videos disrespecting people who tragically lost their life in the murderous, violent gang scene of Jacksonville, Florida. Literally turning trauma into a brand. Literally translating disparaging people who died into profit. But on his 26th birthday, Charles, Julio, Foolio, whatever, the bill came due. This wasn't a random act of violence. This wasn't just an unfortunate series of events. Let's be real. This was damn near a military grade extraction. A hit squad from Jacksonville, Florida, didn't just find this boy. They hunted this man down. They used his own social media post, which in my opinion proves he was a fool, against him, tracking his every move like a heat-seeking missile until they pinned him down in a Tampa, Florida parking lot. And what makes it crazy is ordinarily these thugs, these buffoons, they wouldn't have been able to be so strategic about what they did until we find out that they were led by a man whose family, his mother and his father, have decorated military records. This man living in the house with special ops. This man living in the house with black ops. And though he was raised in a good home, he used the things that his parents taught him and the things that he learned from being in the house with two of our finest men and women in uniform. He used those things for bad. They set a trap for Julio. They waited for the lights and unleashed a hell of bullets on this boy, which turned his celebration into a slaughter. And who was pulling the trigger? Not some victim of the system, not some woe is me, my daddy. I ain't had no daddy and I ain't had no mama growing up. We're looking at this kid named Sean Gathright, a kid who had the whole world at his feet. His mother was in the Marines. I mean, she was Semper Fi. She was real. And his stepfather was in the Air Force. This kid went to private schools, vacations in Europe. Boy, then went to Africa at a young age. Vacations in Cape Town. He had the American dream right in his lap. But he traded it for a 30-round magazine and a smoking AR-15. They told us we need to ban those, right? But maybe we should ban the mentality that enables people to use those things for the wrong reasons. Now this man is sitting in a courtroom wearing a suit. Look at handsome kid, well-spoken, talking about how he done found God after operating like a servant of Satan. Talking about how he wants to mentor the youth, but he only want to do that once the handcuffs went clink, clink, and he's looking at losing his life to Florida's death penalty. The prosecutor asked him a very simple question. He asked him if he felt remorse for what he did while he was running with a rifle. That's a whole different plane of thought. You running down people with a rifle. You not, oh, they shot at me, so I reached for the gat and buzzed back and was running. That's hood shit. This dude doing black ops. He running people down with a rifle like he on Call of Duty. They said, do you feel remorse when you felt the heat off of that rifle on your hands after you gunned down Julio Foolio? You know, that boy didn't even respond. He couldn't even answer. He didn't feel remorse at all. He didn't feel no remorse when he was wiping out his enemy, right? He didn't feel remorse when he was wiping down the getaway car so nobody would find out at his grandma's house. He damn sure didn't feel no remorse the night that he did what he did when he was at the club the same night toasting with Don Julio while the man he just killed was laid up in the morgue. Guys, this is going far beyond the hood movies that we glorified as children. This ain't no damn menace to society. This is no longer Boys in the Hood, where people did what they had to do to survive in a rough situation. At this point, we've already stopped valuing the blessings we have. We went from the point of praying for blessings to receiving the blessings and devaluing the blessings all in the same breath. We went from trying to erase generational curses to literally chasing curses so that we could become the embodiment, the living personification of these curses for clout on the damn internet, for clout that you can only receive from someone who is looking at you through a screen on a phone or a TV. Everybody knows that the streets don't love you. And even if you love them, they don't love you back. They're literally just waiting for the opportunity to turn you from a willing participant into just another headline. And that's what this boy Gathright is experiencing. It's sad to say. It's even sad to see. But I'm going to tell y'all right now, what y'all don't got to know where I stand. I hope this dude gets the death penalty. This ain't survival. This is none of those things. This is a demon right here. He couldn't even say that he felt remorse for what he did. This is pure damn evil. This is everything we said the hood wasn't. We were victims of circumstance. You know what? His daddy walked out on him at a young age. You know how they say, they used to say he never had a chance. Well, shit, this guy had all the chances. My father is in prison for life. I didn't go run nobody down with a rifle on their birthday and kill him. So is it that he never had a chance, or did he have every single chance that a person could possibly have, and he just simply decided to do bad? Whole time his mama sitting up in the damn courtroom, she being a typical mom. She didn't even want to believe that her son was capable of doing this shit. And if you look at his upbringing, I could understand why his mom thought that way. If you would have put his resume up, his upbringing in front of me and said, this kid's going to run down a rapper and kill him as a part of some gang beef, I would have never believed it was going to happen. I was like, nah, that kid ain't going to do that. So I understand why his mama didn't want to accept it. But now, she's been forced to. Let's get into this dang on video.
Today, and, I'm not here to dispute anything. I'm just here to be a man and take responsibility and express my feelings about this whole situation. That's what I plan on doing.
Okay. And how do you feel? What?
I feel very remorseful. This is a terrible situation. It's been a traumatic experience. Let
me ask you this. So, how old were you when you were arrested?
I was 18 years old.
We heard that you had started some college, obviously probably didn't get very far, right?
Right.
What have you done since you've been in jail? Is there programs? Are there things that you can do there?
So, I've gotten into programs. I've also, I grew up, in church and, in a Christian household. So I refocused my, life to Christ, and, I've taken a lot of religious programs. I've read the Bible from cover to cover. I've tried to, share some word, and, we have prayer circles in the jail and stuff like that. I've led a couple, prayer circles, and I've tried to, kids around my age or, younger, since I'm 20 years old now, that when you turn 18, you go to the adult pods and stuff like that. So if I see somebody who I see, has a lot of potential and has a chance to keep them from, you know, basically being able to be corrected at this opportunity and not come back, I try to take them under my wing.
I'm telling you right now, don't none of this mean nothing. I was raised in the church and all this mess. That's hurt. In my opinion, that hurts his argument because you've already proven that the traditional methods of teaching people accountability, responsibility, whether that be to uphold the law or responsibility to do the will of God, you're showing me that that doesn't have no effect on you. The way you did what you did. What does going to church mean when the Bible condemn folks? Tell you thou shalt not kill, and the Bible really condemns the way he did what he did, because one, he made a problem that wasn't even his. Then he went and laid dead for somebody and killed them when they were in the middle of their birthday celebration, and just and shot at bro 2 times. Shot at him and missed him, I guess, and then went and shot at him again and killed him. What does church have to do? What does being raised in you making the church look bad? He might as well, in my opinion, not even brought that up. Just tell us all the selfish reasons you don't want the state of Florida to do to you what you did to Julio Foolio.
As you see, I have a lot of resources and a lot of family that love me, and they've even, asked me like, hey, is there anybody in there who doesn't have somebody like that, who, could we send them some money, like, anything like that. So I've tried to, be a vessel for God to pour over my blessings into those around me.
We heard from Mr. Benoska, who said that,
I'm not going to keep interrupting it, y'all, but dude, like I said, everything he say is just more damning. You had a family who care about you. They still care about you. They still love you. You had everything going in your favor. You just chose to do something. This is beyond stupid. This is evil. This is not kids being kids. This is evil, what he did.
in prison, that there is opportunities at times to be a mentor, or do orientations and peer-to-peer things like that. Is that something that you'd be interested in doing?
Of course, I definitely want to, try my absolute best to course correct anybody from falling down the path that they don't have to take, especially the youth. I feel like that's my calling that God has put on my heart to, be a mentor to the youth and be a positive influence in this world.
What about those relationships, like you said?
That's the mama. That's the mama right there with the wig. She's a military woman, so she not gonna be super hyper emotional. She gonna keep her dignity. I respect that. But moms, I ain't gonna lie to you, man. Like I probably wouldn't even showed up for this fool. This guy disrespected his family and his mama, and they honor and they legacy so damn bad, bro. This is the part where the family, the Asian family, the daddy slap you across the face and turn his back on you. But that's one thing in the black community, man. We gonna love even the monsters. If it's our kid, we can't turn our back on them. But in reality, bro, I think we're gonna have to learn to do that. Because these kids gotta know, man, you start on that bullshit, you on your own. I don't want you to have no reassurance. I want you to feel hopeless. You done. I see you when they sentence you. I remember watching this one, it was on the First 48 or one of those type of shows, and the boy killed somebody and his grandma in there, he hugging her, And she like, I gotta go. You can let me go now, because holding on to me ain't gonna, it ain't gonna help you now. Granny kept it real with him. I love you and all that, but you made your decision as a man. Did this boy, this dude might be a sociopath. Bro might be on some American Psycho type shit. Because I'm not gonna lie to you, I don't see someone who's remorseful. I see someone who's just a manipulator.
And you have a lot of people. Are you able to maintain those relationships now?
Yes. So, I mean, everybody who I, maintain a relationship wasn't able to all be here today or, even testify. But, I talk to them daily, weekly, bi-weekly. I cherish my supporters very deeply, and I want to maintain a relationship with them for the rest of my life.
And I know, we're not going to talk about the case itself, right? But you said that you were taking accountability, you felt remorseful. Tell us what you mean by that and what statement you want to make.
To the victim's family, I want to send my deepest condolences. And I understand that it's hard losing a child, a best friend, a brother, a cousin.
Nah, you don't understand, because you ain't lost nobody. This dude is a manipulator. If I was that dude family, I would have went off. He's being funny. Oh, my deepest condolences. He's just a person who is well trained. He came up in a good home. He knows how to speak. And he's trying to use that to manipulate this court. He's trying to use that to manipulate dullards into feeling sorry for this dude. Bro don't give a damn about what he did. He has no remorse for it. And if he get off, this is the reason why I think they should give bro the death penalty is because this is the type of motherfucker who will get out. He is the type of dude who will figure a way to get his ass out of jail, bro. I'm not even lying to you. Keep him locked up. This guy's a sociopath, I think.
Yeah. And you want to take account.
Now we fast forward and we go into the part, because he didn't talk all that shit, right? Oh, I'm remorseful and all this stuff. But now we going to go to the part where the white man, and this is why you got to love the white man right here. See, the women, they move by that. The lady questioning them, oh, is there anything you've been doing? But oh, that white man, that prosecutor came. He came for his ass. He said, oh, I see right through all the shit you doing. Now, Johnny Law about to talk to him and get to the meat of the situation.
Correct, the evidence that came in over the last several weeks?
I was right there.
Yeah. And you want to take accountability now, correct? You want to take accountability now that this jury has found you guilty, correct?
Yes, sir.
All of a
Weeks
sudden-
after we went through a trial. Is that your testimony?
Objection, Your Honor.
Nah, objection my ass. Yeah, why you didn't just say, you know what, I did it. I was wrong. Woo. The time to take accountability is before you try to get away with the shit. And that's what this prosecutor is saying. Nah, you want to take accountability now, but when we was on trial for 6 weeks, you wasting everybody's time and wasting these taxpayer dollars. You was just waiting to see if you was hedging your bet, waiting to see if you could get away with it.
I'm going to sustain the objection.
You indicated this was a traumatic experience. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
That's what you just testified to, correct?
That's what I said.
Let me just have one moment, Your Honor. I'm trying to get the all-know.
Yes.
Hey, J-Dug, you ain't lying, boy. You ain't lying. It's still playing, y'all. He trying to find his paperwork. You ain't lying. The conservative white man is the only thing keeping this country afloat, because black folks love chaos, and we love taking sides with the damn killers, the drug dealers, and the degenerates. You got black folks feeling sorry for this dude. I'm telling you right now, There was like 50 people in here at first. When I start talking sense, like 20 of them dropped down. Yeah, them is black folks who don't want to hear the reality. They don't want to hear the truth. They wanted me to get in here like, oh yeah, they should give him a break. No, fuck him. That I have the same attitude for his life that he had for Julio Foolio life. You have to start treating these animals like they would treat you if they had the opportunity. If that boy had me under the gun, he wouldn't be like, you know what, man, this is wrong. He a family man. You know what I'm saying? Nah, he wouldn't think that at all. He'd be like, because he got to know that Julio Foolio got a family. This is the guy who could have talked those. Hey, man, don't do that stupid shit. We could go beat him up or something. Send him. Nah, this is the guy who he's supposed to be the. If y'all ever saw Boys in the Hood, he's supposed to be Trey. Remember Boys in the Hood when they was going to kill the dudes for killing Ricky, and Doughboy them rolling in a car. See, this the difference. Trey grew up in the house with his daddy. Doughboy them didn't have no daddy. They just had their crackhead mama, right? So Trey was the one who was the voice of reason. He was the one like, hell no, Doe, let me out. Like, reality clicked in for him based on his upbringing. This dude was supposed to be the guy to stop this shit before it got to this point. Instead, he was the ring leader. He just a murderer, bro. He just a murderer. There ain't no good in this dude. And everything is manipulation.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. Stage 25C, you remember Gino Norris?
Yes, sir.
You remember him? He was also really young when this happened, wasn't he?
I didn't know how old he was.
Early 20s, 22. Would that surprise you?
No, it wouldn't surprise me.
Yeah. Gino Norris, who's not a gang member, who's Charles Jones' friend from the time they're children.
That's the legal basis. Okay, come on up, counsel.
See, and you got two females. I think you got a female judge and you got a female public defender. They're asking them what's the legal basis of him bringing up, these dudes who were victims of what he did. Well, what's the legal basis of bringing up that he been going to church and leading the prayer group? You see the double standard right there? What's the legal basis of any of that? But when you go to places like Jacksonville, these are liberal places. They're places that's run by Democrats within Florida, and that's why they look like shit. That's why they producing people like bro. People like the dudes who ran down on Julio Foolio and Julio Foolio himself. Because he's not 100% innocent. He got what he got. He got what he earned. But at the same time, you don't go take nobody's life because you can't get nobody's life back. You have freedom of speech in this country to say what you want. If bro dissing your dead homies on wax, you go diss his dead homies on wax. You don't run down this dude with a rifle and this little son of a gun with this punk ass Juicy Smollett turtleneck on. Bro, they used him. They befriended him because his mama had a gang of guns and stuff. Because she's in the military. Now, let me tell you what's crazy, though. His mom was married to a dude in the Air Force. They were together ever since bro was 3 years old. But guess what? In 2021, they got divorced. And when they got divorced, this fool went buck wild. See why you need a daddy in the home? See why you need a grown man in the house? So they got divorced when bro was like 16 or something. Because I think he's 18 now or 20 or something like that now. So think, they got divorced in 2021. That was 4 years ago. See? And he got arrested when he was 18 or something like that. So when his mama, when the male figure in the house was gone, bro got involved with the wrong crowd. Well, and the wrong crowd got involved with him because he just as bad. Yeah, this guy. So she's talking to the judge is talking to the counsel. We're gonna go forward because we're gonna go to the part where they ask him. I mean, really, the only question that mattered.
It was so long ago. I
Nah.
To shoot them, but when you were running that carnage on June 23rd, Norris, and you saw the autopsy photos of Charles Jones, my question to you is, after you and your friends inflicted that carnage on June 23rd, and as you were running states 2059C, this is actually you running to shoot them, but when you were running back past that Tesla, were you feeling a lot of trauma at that point?
It was so long ago. I try to not remember anything from that night.
Were you remorseful as you were running back with that AR-15 in your hands?
Like I said, I try to remember nothing from that night.
White man tearing his ass
Was it
up.
traumatic to you as you went back to the car with that AR-15? Was it still smoking? Was it still warm in your hands from firing it?
Sustain the objection.
Were you feeling remorse as you were getting back into the Impala?
Like I said, I just try to focus on today and moving forward.
So the next day, that Impala, that was your car. You drove that around, right? It was your mom's, but you drove that car, correct?
Yes, sir. It was my mother's car.
Right. And that was the car you drove from Jacksonville to Tampa in, correct?
I'm going to object beyond stuff.
I'm working to a point, Your Honor.
Okay, why don't we just get there?
All right. So this car, this Impala that you drove from Jacksonville to Tampa in with Mr. Chance and Miss Andrews, the one that you drove in tandem with the Silver Cruise, the same car that you utilized to drive the assault team, the shooting team, which you were a part of that night. That same car that you drove around Tampa in the early morning hours for several hours, tracking, stalking, and hunting Charles Jones and his entourage.
Sustain.
That same Impala, you drove that to Polk County the next day, and you dropped it at your grandmother's house, right? The same grandmother who came in here last night and testified for you, correct?
Overruled, go ahead, you can answer that question.
Isn't that correct?
What is the question?
You dropped the Impala, the one that had all of these shooters in it, the one that was utilized in this murder, that was such a vital cog in this plan. You dropped it at your grandmother's house in Auburndale, didn't you?
I'm here to testify about today.
Are you going to answer that question, or are you going to avoid it? Because that's not what I asked what you were doing here today. I think we all understand what you're here to do today, what you're testifying about. I'm asking you specifically about your remorse. Were you remorseful when you dropped that car off and left it at your grandmother's house in Auburndale?
I did go to my grandmother's house.
Were you feeling remorse when you hugged her and got into the 4Runner and left her with the Impala after you wiped it down?
Sir, I'm just telling you that today I would like to express my remorse to the
I
family and to the
understand. I
court.
understand what you're trying to do today. I'm asking you, since you're trying to convince this jury that you're remorseful, were you feeling remorse that next day or later that day?
I don't remember these days in detail, how I was feeling, what I was thinking.
What about
And
later that night when you went to Orlando? Were you feeling remorse when you were out partying at Club Parlay, celebrating what you had done that day?
That was my sister's birthday party.
What did you feel any remorse while you were drinking Don Julio tequila and putting that in your video and throwing gang signs?
I'm here
Did you
to
feel remorse
testify
then?
about today, sir. We've all seen the evidence.
The answer is no. You can't even lie and say, you know what? I was drinking because I was feeling bad. Yeah, I was throwing up the gang signs, whatever, but bro, I was just I was just trying to have a happy face so it wouldn't be obvious that I did something wrong. He can't even say that because he haven't even thought this through. A person who is truly remorseful, they're going to be like, hey, you know what? I was messed up. I drank myself till I passed out, till I passed out because I really regretted what I did. But I wasn't trying to be like kill the momentum of the event, of the occasion of my sister's birthday. He can't even say that because when someone is lying and trying to get over on you, when you lie, you have to remember a lot of different bullshit that you plan on saying. So the obvious questions or the questions you didn't expect, you're not going to plan for them. And let me tell you something. You got a female judge, I believe her name is Michelle Cisco, this white lady. You got a female public defender, right? Lawyer. Every time the lawyers say objection, the judge, sustain. They don't want, because they're women. They feel sorry for this loser. So they don't want to see him die. So every time the lawyers say objection, the judge gonna sustain it, but then overrules an objection that is pertaining to the same damn thing that he was asking, type of question he was asking before. But he's trying to make a point. He's trying to show the jury, this guy don't feel sorry about nothing. He has no remorse. Why won't you let him build to his conclusion? Because women, a lot of women, they love motherfuckers like this. Women sleep with dudes like this. Killers and vagrants and degenerates. They make babies with people like this dude. He's a good-looking kid. And they probably somewhere fantasize, ooh, he is fine, girl. Ooh, in their mind. As a man, I'm like, no, I want this dude off the street. I don't want this dude nowhere where he could hurt somebody else, because he might hurt one of my kids. I might run into this young punk at a gas station and he might hit my damn car, and I get out like, hey, you hit my car, and he killed me. See, women don't think, I don't even think women should be allowed to be judges, low key. Because women don't think about defending shit or maintaining nothing. All they think about is how they feel in the moment, in that moment, about the person. See, but they didn't see him in his killer side, because they know everything that this prosecutor know. How he went and celebrated. How he was drinking Don Julio and throwing up gang signs, celebrating murdering that boy. They know that. So how do y'all have the same information but arrive at a totally different conclusion or a totally different sentiment towards this dude? No.
Since we've all reviewed.
Women love bad
Chance,
boys.
It's not time for you now to make speeches. You've politely answered your counsel's questions. Can you not answer the state's questions? Is there something about my question you don't understand?
I was getting to
I'm
it.
sorry,
I was getting
Mr.
to
Gathright, I called you Mr. Chance. Excuse me.
I was getting to my answer. Like I said, I've seen all the evidence.
Well, we've all seen all the evidence,
Yes,
right?
sir. That's true.
And after all that evidence came in and this jury based their true verdict on that, convicting you, now you're taking accountability?
I'm gonna
Is that correct?
sustain the objection. I think the question on the table was remorse about an Orlando.
It
Okay?
is, Your Honor.
Yeah, but he refuses to answer the question. He's beating around the bush, being manipulative. This dude is a manipulator. In the same way he's manipulating them, he probably been manipulating his mama for years. And a no good dog ass granny, oh, his daddy was abusing him. Wasn't nobody abusing this punk. This dude was a manipulator, and the man in the house saw straight through his ass. And when he held him accountable, he was labeled as an abuser. That's how it is when you a man. Young kids manipulate. I have a friend the other day talking about, man, my daughter done missed a lot of school. Why? Oh, because she says school is overwhelming for her. I said, if you don't make that little heifer get her ass up and take her ass to school, oh, well, you don't understand. Kids manipulate their mama. Kids manipulate their mama. And when a man call it out, he becomes the bad guy. He becomes the enemy. But I bet you if that man was respected and he was honored and he was allowed to rule that house, bet you this fool wouldn't be sitting on trial for murder right now. Because how you not in some type of cadet training getting ready to go in the military? But this is why the black family is going to hell in a handbasket, because the man is villainized for holding people accountable. So now the law got to hold them accountable, but we at the point where the law don't even hold the people accountable, because I'm very sure that if that judge and that defender had their way, this dude would have walked free, because he's good looking, because they like his turtleneck and his jacket. This is the type of things women use to make their determinations on stuff. Ooh, girl, you see his waves? He needs to go back to the street, honey.
You just need to answer that question.
So I'm going to ask you very specifically, okay? So try to focus with a laser beam here, Mr. Gathright. Were you feeling remorse when you were in Club Parlay in Orlando drinking Don Julio? Were you feeling remorse for what you did earlier that day?
I don't remember how I was feeling or what I was thinking.
Were you feeling remorse when you got pulled over in the Forerunner a couple of days later by the police?
I don't remember. I was nervous. I mean, I had never been involved in any police
Were you feeling
matters.
remorse when you were unloading the Impala and putting all of that evidence into the Forerunner? Did you feel remorse?
Sir, I told you I don't remember how I was feeling or what I was thinking in those.
Okay, so he doesn't know whether he feels remorse or not. So how does he know he feels remorse right now? If he doesn't know if he was feeling remorse that night, when you do something, even a dog has the ability to feel bad. Pee on the carpet, dog feel bad. I peed on the carpet. This dude is a degenerate. This guy is a sociopath. And somebody in the comments saying that they're Julio Foolio's cousin said he didn't kill Foolio because he was hood. He killed him because he wanted the money. And I believe that. This dude is a very calculated dude, and he's very manipulative. And I promise you, if it was 3 white men sitting in that courtroom, public defender, prosecutor, and a white male judge, this fool would be cooked immediately. But because he got the luck of the draw, 2 sympathetic females. And now he could sit up there and play games. The judge needs to be like, answer the damn question. Or we could end this right now.
Days.
Mr. Gathright, you have led, you would agree with me, an extremely privileged life, haven't you?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
You would agree with that, correct?
I would.
You've had a loving mother, correct?
Yes, sir.
A loving sister, correct?
Yes, sir.
You've had 2 wonderful grandmothers, correct?
Yes, sir.
You would agree with me, right?
I couldn't deny that.
One of which probably, I'm assuming, sacrificed and paid for you to go to that private school, that preparatory school, correct?
It wasn't paid. It was a magnet program, so I had to apply, and it was a lottery system.
It was a lottery system. Okay, so it was a magnet.
Yes, sir.
All right. She supported you going there, did she not?
Everybody did.
Gave
Yes, sir.
you open use of her house, welcomed you, treated you, and
Mama let you drive her
parented
car?
you basically, didn't she?
Yes, sir.
Took care of you when your parents were deployed, correct?
Yes, sir. At the time, I was living with my grandmother. Both of my parents had been either retired or out of the military. I was just living there more so.
Yeah, you was living there because you wasn't getting along with your damn mama husband because he wasn't letting you run roughshod in his shit. And you was manipulating your granny because she gonna be, nah, my baby. Just another black woman raising a damn killer, making excuses all the way. You got a mother and a father. Why the hell you living at your granny house? You got a mama and see, they represented the discipline aspect. He didn't want that. He was living with granny and was out there thugging. Granny can't keep up with no young kid. I'm telling y'all, people, back in the day, you could send your kids to your granny and, go, you be a hood rat and granny and hold it down. Nowadays, granny too old, bruh. Granny too old. She can't take care of your kids. She lived her life. But he said that, but see, J. Doug, you said his parents were deployed, but he's saying his parents was already retired. His mom and his biological dad broke up when he was little. The daddy in the Air Force was with his mama since he was about 3 years old. So that's the only dad he really knew. So I can understand if it's like, Craig moved in when I was 15. Nah, this man been taking care of bro since he was 3 years old. That's his daddy, basically.
I needed a change of scenery, and my relationship with my father wasn't sustainable.
Okay. This is when you were in Oxford with your grandmother.
Yes, sir.
The nice lady we saw earlier came in here.
Yes, sir.
The one that has supported you and spoke so lovingly about you, correct?
Yes, sir.
And so you went to this preparatory school, and whether you got in there through a lottery or not, you would agree with me, not everybody gets.
J. Doug, are you dense? I get what you're saying. They was in the military. So he lived with her while he was deployed. Yes. But if you listen to what was said, he said at the time he was living with his granny, his parents were both retired. Now he's telling you that his relationship with his dad was bad. That's why he went to go live with his granny. Come on now. Keep up.
It's to go to a school like that, correct?
The lottery school the magnet school I went to was in middle school when I was living in Jacksonville.
Man, don't
The
nobody
school I
care
went
about no
to,
damn lottery school.
in Oxford, it was just a public high school.
A public high school.
Yes,
Okay,
sir.
my mistake. So you went to that preparatory school in Jacksonville.
Yes, sir.
But again, that school was not something that every kid gets to go to.
No,
right?
he wanted to leave the preparatory
Not
school.
every kid gets to have a counselor and a role model like Mr. Edwards, correct?
No, sir, I was very blessed.
And not many children get to fly in planes with their stepfather, correct?
Yeah.
No, sir.
And fly around in Asia and get to see islands off the coast of Okinawa, correct?
No, sir, I was
And go on
very
camp-
blessed.
You are very blessed, aren't you?
Yes, sir.
And not every kid gets to go to Scotland, right?
No, sir.
Or Ireland,
No, sir.
or Paris,
No, sir.
or London,
No, sir.
or Spain.
No, sir.
Cape Town or Johannesburg, or
Uh,
both in South Africa?
Cape Town.
Cape Town, beautiful city, right?
Yeah.
You got to go experience that when you were growing up, correct?
I did.
Because you had such loving people around you supporting you.
Yeah, this guy's a sociopath, bro. He killing because he want to kill. Fuck you. Like, even the cousin of Foolio, who's in the comments, say he wants to kill for the money. This guy didn't need no damn money. I believe this guy I believe if this guy would have got away with this, he would have continued to kill. People don't realize it's a lot of sociopaths in the hood, man. People just kill because they get off on it. This guy is a manipulator. This guy is freaking Ed, whatever that guy's name is, the psycho. Ed, what was his name? Eddie something. But he's a crazy dude. And I wonder if they made him undergo a psychological evaluation.
Despite having what you called a blessed upbringing, you still find yourself here today, right?
Unfortunately.
Where you had lived, we heard about Mississippi, and was Jacksonville different than where you had lived previously?
Jacksonville was unlike any other city that I've lived in or visited or any other country. The cultures, the neighborhoods, the people, it's completely different.
And how old were you when you kind of started experiencing that culture shock?
So when I moved to Jacksonville, I was about 9 or 10 years old. I didn't really know much about what the streets were, quote unquote, the streets were. It was more whenever I got to high school and I wanted to leave the magnet school that I was at. I wanted to be at more of a neighborhood school to be around the people I grew up with, because at the magnet school it's 30, 45 minutes away. I didn't really know anybody. I wasn't as close as the people who I grew up with. So around high school, that's when I started hearing about, and seeing, the different.
Right there, the nigga's lying. Because he said, I wanted to quit the magnet school so I could be around the people I grew up with. But you experience culture shock with those people? Like, maybe I'm slow, but bro saying he didn't know what was going on in the hood, but he left the magnet school because he wanted to be with the people in the hood. Like, this is a lie right here. This is a lie. He wanted to be a hood nigga. He wanted to thug. He was on, just like everybody, he on the internet. He looking at dudes being hood, throwing up gang signs. He like, man, that's what they doing over there? I'm trying to be a part of that life. He fell in love with the street life, the hood life, to the point where he wanted to leave his magnet school, could have been a doctor, lawyer, attorney, or anything, just so he could go be in the hood. And guess what? This is what the hood life gets you. And he deserved everything he get, and then some.
Things like, the drugs and people dying and, stuff like that. And then I was caught completely off guard. But I was curious, like, what is this? You know, and listening to the music, like,
Yeah,
I was
listening
just,
to the music.
like, caught off guard. Like, I'd never experienced something like that, especially living in Japan and, you know, living in different states around the world. I mean, or in the country, it didn't have what Jacksonville had.
Ain't nobody
From a lot of
Somebody said the hood life indoctrinated him. Bro, nobody indoctrinated this fool. This fool got a phone like everybody else. He listening to drill. It's exciting, and he wants to be a participant. He wants to be a participant. Here's the whole thing though. Everybody, you got loving people around you telling you, hey, do the right thing, bro. Don't get involved in that. Who is these new boys? Right? His stepdaddy was there to keep him on the straight and narrow. He moved out. I don't want to deal with this fool. I don't want to live with this fool. Bro, he made this choice. 100%. He's young, but he made this choice. I was 18. I was living with my granddaddy. I didn't have to come in the house. I didn't have no damn curfew. I was making my own choices, stay out as late as I wanted to, had a car and all that. Somehow I never managed to go run somebody down with a rifle and murder him in cold blood.
people that knew you, and I think it's been a pretty consistent theme that you were mature and smart and interested in things. But you were still what? How old around that time?
I was 14, 15, you know. Definitely would consider myself to be smart and, you know, mature for my age, but
Still curious?
I was still a young boy, you know. I still am a young man.
You think you were kind of impressionable?
This guy's
I would characterize myself as, you know, at times being naive, gullible, impressionable, and yeah.
And so despite that upbringing, are you finding yourself, you're in a different culture now, but you still want to be as successful as you can?
Yeah, so being in the jail, I'm by myself, especially in a city so far away. I don't know anybody, so I took this time to focus back in on myself and just get back to the basics, what I know, and without anybody being in my ear or influencing me, I've cut out the noise, there's not many distractions in jail, it's the same thing every day. So I started to work out and, programs, try to educate myself more, plan, stuff like that. Everybody asks themselves, or everybody asks God for things, what we want from what we want God to do for us.
Here we go.
But a lot of the times we don't ask what God wants from us. And so I've asked God.
Man, this dude is a manipulator. This dude pissing me off. Let me kill this nigga myself. Lord, help me kill this nigga. I'm gonna say it like Steven on Django. Yeah, this dude right here, bro. Listen, bro. I ain't never trying to wish death on nobody, but this dude is a sociopath. Oh, we never asked what God wants us to do. Man, please. And then somebody in the comments talk about peer pressure. Bro, the upbringing bro had, he should have been able, okay, my family, my dad is in a gang, my uncles there in a gang, but me, I was raised going to church, right? So when I started hanging around with gang members, bro, I realized very quickly, bro, you're much more intelligent than these dudes. So this can never be a situation where these dudes are controlling what you're doing. This is a situation where you need to be kind of trying to control what they doing. Bro should have been the leader, and I believe he was. He the one who had the guns. They befriended bro to get access to the guns his mama had. That's what they said in court. I don't want to hear peer pressure, bro, because he had a lot of peers. He had peers up in that magnet program, and he did everything in his power to get away from them. Them hood dudes didn't say, hey, man, you just quit that school and come over here. Bro was already messing with them dudes. And then he made a decision. I don't want to go out there to go to school. That's taking away too much time where I could be in the hood every day. And bro got on. Guys, don't forget we have a challenge. We have a $5 challenge on the super chat. Guys, we have a reward. If we hit 10 $5 super chats, I'm going to do a field trip to Skid Row. I'm going to go live from Skid Row in LA, because I live in Long Beach, which is like 15 minutes from LA. I'm going to do a field trip to LA. I'm going to go live on Skid Row. I'm going to talk to people and really point out how messed up it is in downtown LA. And I'm going to talk about Karen Bass, the woman who is the front runner for mayor of LA right now, and the governor's race in California. So if we hit the 10 $5 super chats, I will do that live stream for you this weekend. And you'll be able to, and I also compress it down into a pre-recorded video too. So if you guys want to see your boy going on a field trip to Skid Row, getting down and dirty with the hobos, let me know. Or not just let me know, hit that super chat button and I'm going to make happen for you.
That question, what do you want from me? I'm asking all these things from you. What do you want from me? And he told me that he's calling me. Like, I feel like my calling, or what he told me, was to be there for the youth, serve the youth, keep them from going down similar paths, because there's a better way. And the streets is not the way. The streets are not the way.
Even having everything, trips and privilege and church and grandmas, and you still can find yourself going down a wrong path, right?
Objection leading.
Sustained.
And you feel that that's your calling?
Yes, I want.
Objection non-responsive.
Well, I think it's more asked and answered, but you go ahead and answer. Just yes or no. Just answer yes or no. Do you
what
feel
was-
that's your calling?
Yeah,
What
she's
you were
feeding them
describing.
words.
Yes.
Listen, she's leading them. She's feeding them words to make the jury feel sorry for him. And the judge is going to allow it. That on Google, it say that judge a white lady. That judge sound black to me, but I could be wrong. Why are you leading him? Let him speak from the heart. He can't. He don't feel sorry about this shit. He don't care. He's trying to do what he got to do to save his own skin. That's about it.
I do.
She might as well get up there and talk on his behalf.
I would like to.
Well,
Objection
no.
I'm sorry.
Yeah,
Okay.
no. You just gotta wait for a question, okay, Mr. Gathright?
Yes, ma'am.
No further questions.
Yeah. So this guy, he don't give a damn about what happened. He can't even answer just basic questions. Do you feel remorse for what you did? A kid can be like, yeah, I feel sorry for what I did. That fool probably will sit up there and say, yeah, I feel sorry that I got caught. The story of this guy, Sean Garthright, isn't just a court case, basically. It's really a warning. It's really a warning. We get up here, we get on these platforms, we constantly telling folks, hey, man, law and order, raise your kids, stop, black people, stop impregnating women and walking out on them. Stay active in your kid's life. Don't think, oh, I got a good kid, he'll never do that. You have to be active in your kid's life. This case is proof that all the privilege and guidance in the world cannot save a man who chooses darkness over light. And that's what Sean Garthright did. We're watching this generation of youth trade their future for a few minutes of not even glory, attention from the streets in a viral clip. But while the court deals with the fallout of this situation that happened in Tampa, the world keeps moving. We'll forget about this guy in a couple of days. And the landscape of how we live, work, and protect our values is constantly shifting under our feet. You don't even know what to expect no more. You got the magnet school kid running people down with a rifle. First thing blacks will say, well, black folks don't do mass shooting shit. Well, what is that? Well, what is that, bro? You're right. They don't do mass shootings. They just run down people and kill them, even though they grew up with a silver spoon. We see what happens when the culture becomes totally toxic. Now, this is so crazy that even psychologists and stuff, they'll have a hard time explaining what's going on. I'm throwing out that bro's a sociopath just for the sake of it being something so simple. But this dude might be an evolution of mental illness and mental instability in this country. Just like people talk about Trump derangement syndrome and how that's a real diagnosable illness, mental illness now, there are other mental illnesses that have evolved out of this unique situation in history that we find ourselves in the United States. And guess what? If we haven't identified them, they can't be diagnosed. There's something mentally wrong with that boy. There's something mentally wrong with that boy. There might be something mentally wrong with his mama and his grandma too. But we just don't have the research to diagnose it yet. But let me tell you the whole thing. While we're trying to understand what these killers think and what makes them tick, we're the ones doing the dying. Our kids are the ones losing their life. Like Julio Foolio might have talked a lot of shit, but as far as we know, he ain't smoked nobody. He didn't go run him. He didn't go looking for somebody on their birthday to run him down with a rifle and kill him. That's the one, win I would give Julio Foolio there. This guy did. But I just don't think that we could let this guy walk free. This guy has to pay for what he did, man. And he needs to, and let's be real, the example needs to be set. Because if you let him walk away, how many degenerate thugs of Jacksonville will be emboldened by that and be like, oh, I'm going to go run down on my ops now, right? It's just not right to let that guy walk away, after he did something like that. I don't agree with it. I don't support it. None of that. But guys, I want to segue to a different topic. And I'm a little bit late to this. I planned to talk about it the other day, but I was having a little bit of issues. I had to get I had an issue with my camera situation. But this is a story about a man who it's a failure on behalf of the criminal justice system also, but it's for a different reason. It's a totally different reason. So let's tap into this. I hope you stick around with us because you'll enjoy the rest of the show. Let's get into this right here.
Ramel Burke was handcuffed with his hand behind his back, holding a blue face mask and smiling as he walked up to the judge, his defense lawyer requesting medical and psychiatric care. Ramel Burke stood in front of a judge Saturday, smiling as he faced second-degree murder charges for allegedly shoving 76-year-old retired teacher Ross Falzone down the stairs at the 18th Street station. Prosecutors say it was an unprovoked attack. Burke was arrested Friday, a day after they allege the 32-year-old walked behind Falzone as he approached the train station. At no point was there an interaction between the two men. By the time the senior citizen got to the entrance and paused at the top of the steps, prosecutors say Burke, with both hands, shoved him down the stairs. The fall was deadly. Police sources say Falzone was taken to Bellevue Hospital with a broken rib, traumatic brain injury, and a fractured spine. Injuries so severe he was pronounced dead that evening. Earlier that day, police transported Burke to Bellevue Hospital for a psychiatric evaluation after a disturbance outside a precinct. He was discharged from the hospital after about an hour. Within hours of his release, Ross Falzone was killed. Mayor Mamdani directed New York City Health and Hospitals to conduct an immediate investigation and full internal review into Burke's evaluation and discharge at Bellevue Hospital, and a broader review of the psychiatric process across all public hospitals. The mayor is also asking the State Department of Health to determine if Bellevue followed existing protocols and to identify if there are any gaps in the system.
Ross Falzone was 76 years old. He was a retired special education teacher with a doctorate from Columbia University. You got to take a second and think about that. A man who spent his entire life dedicated to the people who are the most at risk in our society. This man survived decades in a classroom with people who deal with disabilities, including but not limited to mental illness. But Ross Falzone, after retiring, ended up being killed, and he wasn't killed in a freak accident. He was killed by a series of events over which he had no control. He was killed by people who believe that their lived experience is more important than the law. The man who pushed Ross Falzone, the man you just saw in the video, was Ramel Burke, a 32-year-old New Yorker who suffers from well-documented mental illness and had a history of assaulting people on New York's subway system. On Thursday afternoon, the New York Police Department found him acting erratically. Riders had called the police. He was waving a stick that he pulled from a trash can. They did their job. They arrested Burke, Ramel, and they took him to Bellevue Hospital, a mental institution. They marked him as an emotionally disturbed person, but in the city of New York, under the Mamdani administration, the hospital is just a revolving door. They just in and out. No real evaluation, no 48-hour hold to see if the person is a threat to themselves or other. All right, thank you, Mr. Burke. Time to get the fuck out. Ramel Burke was then released in 90 minutes. He spent an hour and a half at the mental hospital. And the New York Police Department said perfectly, you'd wait 8 hours at Bellevue, this hospital, for a headache. But if you're a violent threat to someone, they'll give you an Advil at the front door. 5 hours later, Ross Falzone was dead. He was at the bottom of the steps with a traumatic brain injury and a fractured spine. 5 hours later. So this person that we know is crazy was taken into custody. He was sent to a hospital that has all the resources to deal with what he's going through. They let this guy out in an hour and a half. They simply just didn't want to deal with it. This didn't happen by coinky-dink. This wasn't a coincidence. This wasn't a vacuum. It literally happened because of a judge. Think about that. The reason Ross Falzone is dead and Ramel Burke was free to kill Ross Falzone by pushing him down those steps is because of a judge, right? There's a judge who released this man from custody because instead of being a judge who enforces the law, this woman instead chose to use her position to be an activist. There are judges in the city of New York who this woman stated, it's not just judges. This judge who released Ramel Burke from another crime that he did days before, this woman said out of her own mouth, well, I have a leniency on criminals because I have family members who are incarcerated. Think about that. Think about that. I have family members who are incarcerated, so I'm letting criminals out. You got judges in the city of New York, and I would say all over the country, that have stated on the record that they allowed the fact that they have family members who are locked up to influence how they rule from the bench. They literally brag about it. They say that traditional judges don't understand the struggle because they don't come from criminal backgrounds. They see their history as being a public defender or as a professional advocate for criminals, right? As an excuse to allow violent offenders to walk our streets. They look at their work in those fields as like a mandate saying, look, you can't do the right thing. You always have to err on the side of the criminal in their favor. You can't say, you know what, the police did a good job. This guy did wrong. He needs to go spend 5 to 10 in prison. You can't do that when you're these people because you're an ideologue. You will do any and everything necessary to prove that the way you think is superior and the right way of doing things over what anybody else says. When you have judges who view the law through the lens of de-incarceration at any cost, dudes like Ramel Burke isn't just a danger to society. He's a project for them. He's a pet project. Oh, Ramel, they don't understand him. Yeah, he's a violent killer, but with just a little bit of TLC and a supervised release, he'll be all better. Lady, how in the hell does TLC and understanding cure mental illness? Ramel Burke, the guy who killed Ross Falzone, this guy had been arrested 5 times this year alone. In 2026, this man had been arrested 5 times between January and we are in May, right? First, one was robbery. Another was resisting arrest. Another was assault on an officer. Another was assaulting a stranger just in April. He should have never been on the street. He should have never been on the subway platform. He should have been behind bars or in a secured ward at a mental health facility. But why was he free? That's what we got to ask ourselves. Why was this guy free? He was free because when he attacked people before, nobody wanted to follow up and come to court to testify against him. We see a terrifying new trend. A woman, one of the women who Ramel Burke attacked on the subway prior, she didn't want to cooperate with police because she said she didn't want to be responsible for another black man going to jail. Once this woman learned that Ramel Burke had killed Ross Falzone, she said, well, now I wish I would have testified. These people think that they are taking the moral high ground by allowing criminals to run free. But in reality, they're just reinforcing a code of silence that now has cost Ross Falzone his life and pretty much has ensured that Ramel Burke will spend the rest of his life in a prison or a mental health facility. It literally just paved the way for the death of the most vulnerable among us. Because a young, able-bodied woman didn't do her societal duty and testify against Ramel Burke and get him sent up the river. One of our elderly, Ross Falzone, a man who gave his whole life in service of others, has lost that life. What a violent way to die at the age of 76. For all we know, he could have lived to be 100. For all we know, he could have lived to be 100. But his life was just cut short because we don't want to do what's necessary to protect the vulnerable people in our population. That's all there is to it. We do not want to do what's necessary to protect the people who are vulnerable in our population. It's really pathetic and it's really sad. I'm sorry, there's no other way I can describe that. That 76-year-old man should be alive today. That man should be alive today. But instead, guess what? He's dead and the criminal lives on. The criminal gets to go on to be crazy. Who do you think was more of a valuable member to society? Someone who was contributing more? Ramel Burke, who's assaulting people on the subways of New York? Or Ross Falzone, someone who dedicated his life to helping people with mental illness and developmental disabilities? But if you show people as a society that you don't value the contributions they make to that society, guess what? They'll stop making contributions. They'll go somewhere where they're appreciated, celebrated. We don't understand that. But because we want to protect criminals. Oh, I don't want the criminal to think that we don't care about him. I don't give a damn if he did think we don't care about him.
Across all public hospitals. The mayor is also asking the State Department of Health to determine if Bellevue followed existing protocols and to identify if there are any gaps in the system. In a response, Bellevue Hospital said, "We welcome this review and we expect that it will find our care was appropriate." On Saturday, the judge determined Ramel Burke is a flight risk due to 4 open cases that include assault on an officer, burglary, and criminal mischief. He's been remanded and will remain in jail. His next court date is set for May 14th. At the end of Burke's court appearance, as he was being walked out, he turned to the judge and through a glass partition asked, quote, "Is there anything else, Judge?" She did not respond.
Yeah, so this guy is just totally off his rocker. And he's kind of like, he's maniacal with what he's doing. You know, he's doing crime, he's killing people, and he's laughing about it. How did Bellevue Hospital determine, like, oh yeah, this is somebody that we need to release? See, the procedure is not making any sense. And what I keep telling people who live in these Democrat districts, they want you to live in terror. They want you to live in fear. Because the more they can scare you and make your life a living nightmare, the more willing you will be to relinquish your rights in the name of safety. That's why it's up to you to do something yourself. It's better that they start to enforce public safety and enforce the law because you press them to do it than for them to do it because you're begging them. Please do it, please. See, you can't go on your knees and expect to get a favorable result. But right now, while you're strong and you're on your own 2 feet, that's when you say, look, either enforce the law or you're going to be out of office. That's all you got to do. Enforce the law or you'll be out of office. Guys, why are you guys putting like disparaging stuff in my comments, bro? Yeah, that's how you handle a politician. But it's so crazy to me how people play the victim like, oh, we have no power over what these politicians are doing. Yeah, you do. Because 9 times out of 10, you voted for the politician. But you ain't going to tell nobody because you don't want it to look like you made a bad decision. Ross Falzone would be alive today. If Bellevue Hospital did their job, even the NYPD, y'all just dropping bro off at the hospital. Oh, well, here you go. If he's a threat to others, why would the police leave? Why wouldn't they stay with him until, it's determined that he's mentally fit to go into public or he gets shipped off to another hospital? I don't know if the Bellevue Hospital is like a psychiatric ward / a regular hospital. I don't know. But what I do know is it should be a little more difficult for someone with a history to just walk away. This dude been arrested 6 times this year already. You telling me bro ain't got convicted on none of those crimes? Oh yeah, cashless bail. That's why I say we need to just return things back to the way they were. If you can't make bail, you sit in jail until you can, or until you go to trial, or until you go to court. Why? Because when you don't have that type of bail system, people who should be sitting in jail, they slip through the cracks. This dude, Ramel Burke, was released on a supervised release. Who the hell was supervising him? He was on supervised release, right, when he went to the subway station and killed somebody. Think about that. He was on supervised release while he went to the train station and killed an old elderly man. Clearly, supervised release is not working. But here we are.
The man accused of pushing a man to his death at a subway station now going before a judge. Fox 5's Richard Jacobus is live for us with the latest details on this. Richard.
Arthur, it was this flight of stairs here at this subway station yesterday where 76-year-old Ross Falzone was shoved to his death, a New York City retired teacher. And tonight his suspect is back behind bars after being released. But there are questions tonight from the mayor and the public as to why he was ever let back out. According to the criminal complaint, Burke was observed on surveillance video using 2 hands to forcibly push the 76-year-old down the stairs of the West 18th Street subway station. He was propelled into the the air and landed on the ground at the bottom of the stairs. Falzoni was later pronounced dead at the hospital, but the questions surrounding his alleged murder arise from what happened the night before. This same suspect, who police sources say has been arrested 4 times since February, was brought to Bellevue just hours before the attack as a, quote, emotionally disturbed person. He was then released an hour later. And a few hours after that is when he allegedly pushed Falzoni down the stairs. Former NYPD detective and John Jay professor Michael Alcazar says the cops are doing their jobs, but it's the system that's broken.
The evaluation by the mental health staff is minimal. I understand there's only certain criteria so they can hold them, but maybe perhaps if they knew about the history of the individual, how many times they've been in the hospital, what medications they haven't been taking, how many arrests. Like in this case, this gentleman was arrested 4 times in 4 months, right? So the police are doing their job. We're like the cleanup crew, and then we bring him to the professionals, and apparently the professionals are releasing them too soon without doing a proper evaluation.
So we're told now that Mayor Mamdani is investigating New York City Health and Hospitals Bellevue about why Burke was released so soon. His next court appearance is set for Thursday. We're live in Chelsea tonight. Richard Giacobis, Fox 5 News. Arthur.
Thank you, Richard.
Yeah, this makes no damn sense. There's really not much you could even say about cases like this because this guy should have never been released. He should, man, my thing is, like, NYPD will be like, well, he was arrested 6 times before that. Okay, what are y'all doing wrong? But you got people in New York who will vote for people who not only write up these policies, right? They champion these policies. They champion these policies. And so if the crazies don't get you and you in New York, well, guess who gonna get you? You go in the subway, some crazy person gonna get you. And if you on the regular street, trying to raise your family, the thugs are gonna get you. Because not only is New York dealing with an epidemic of mentally unstable people attacking people on the train, they're also dealing with an epidemic of all-out gang violence. 188 shots fired in one day over one shootout in New York City. One of the cities with the most stringent gun laws in the country, but yet they're still having shootouts.
The gang situation in New York City, which many experts say gang membership, even though crime stats are down, gang membership is at an all-time high, and that more and more young people, particularly young men, teen boys, are getting caught up in it. Just a short time ago, the Brooklyn DA, along with NYPD Police Commissioner Jessica Tisch, announced that.
Listen, politicians believe people are stupid. And unfortunately, too many times people prove them right. They keep lying to you, telling you crime is down. How is crime down when gang membership is up? How is crime down when people are getting killed on the subway, elderly men? How is crime down when you just witnessed on a damn camera a dude get shot? This dude is having a shootout.
All-time high.
This dude is having a shootout. He runs, hides behind a car. A dude come from the other way. They set this dude up. Do y'all see that? Do y'all see that? He runs to get away from bro. Bro come out the back way. And when bro hit the back of the car, bro gets shot in the stomach. Boom. Shot his ass again. Boom. Shot his ass. Bro done. Bro cooked. He's probably dead. That crime is down. Well, what does it matter if the crimes are down, if the crimes are becoming more heinous? They set that man up. They set that man up.
Jessica Tisch announced the takedown of more than a dozen alleged gang members, and they say that the vast majority of them were actually what they call trigger pullers, the ones who do the shootings in this series of shootings that has been going on all across the city over the last 18 months, mostly in Brooklyn, across 10 precincts. These gangs are based, according to the DA, in the Coney Island section. Their territory going right up to the amusement park, the famous Coney Island amusement park. And the reason for the shootings, well, sometimes they just didn't even need a reason, according to what the DA was saying, that they just wanted to go out and start shooting. We brought in, once again, former NYPD Deputy Commissioner Tariq Shepard. He's a co-founder of Harlem Ridge Advisors currently. And Tariq, thank you so much for being with us again. We appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you.
When you hear about this type of an indictment and you hear about the crimes that they were doing, what stood out to you? Because you've seen many of these cases on a firsthand basis yourself. What stands out to you about this one?
Again, what stands out to me here is the ages, young people, but also the amount of shots that they fired. When you look at the amount of shots that we know about was 182. That's what the DA quoted. That's the ones that we know about. There may have been more. And the amount of victims I think we looked at was...
Of course there's more. But in New York, they're doing the same thing they just got caught doing in D.C., where they're fudging the numbers when it comes to the crime stats to make it look like crime is down. Mamdani, the guy who New York elected, he literally said he wanted to do this. He said he wanted to get rid of the police's gang database. They want to get rid of all record keeping, and what record keeping exists, they want to fudge the numbers on that record keeping so they can keep lying to your face saying crime is down, crime is down. Why they carrying your TV out of your back door? Mamdani said, this guy doesn't give a damn about safety. He only cares about taking people's money and doing passion projects. Look.
Council legislation to abolish the NYPD gang database were to pass. Would you support and sign that?
I have supported that proposal. It's one I've supported because of the vast dragnet has meant the inclusion of New Yorkers on the basis of whether they go out late, photos they put on social media, so much of the facts of life of being a young New Yorker, and yet it then becomes a mark of suspicion. There's no question that we have to take gangs extremely seriously, and yet I find that a database that includes New Yorkers on such bases is one that doesn't actually do exactly that.
So gangs are serious. We got to deal with the gangs, right? But if you keep track of the gangs and the gang members, that's somehow violating somebody's rights as a New Yorker. These people talk out of both sides of their neck. And yet, you even got people in this audience, I support that. Guys, they're destroying your cities. And you know what they're going to do? When the cities get so bad, they're going to say, well, give up your rights and we'll make it safe for you again. I want y'all to go watch that movie. It came out back in the day when I was a kid. It's called Wishmaster. And the theme of that movie is be careful what you wish for. See, people think being free or having freedom is no rules. People holler, F the police, F the police. Same people was chanting F the police with NWA. Guess what? They looking for the police now. They complaining because when they call the police, they don't come. Now you, the same people saying F the police, I didn't see nothing, stop snitching. They mad they at the council meetings going up because when they hit 911, don't nobody respond. You can't have it both ways. That's what my granny used to say. You can't have it both ways. And my other granny used to say it's going to tell on you before you tell on it. And that's what's going on in New York. That's what's going on in Washington. That's what's going on in LA. Our people's depraved mindset and absolute hostility to figures of authority, it's now destroying us. It's destroying our communities, and our kids aren't even safe. What if there was a little girl or a little boy walking by when they set this fool up?
Was maybe 7 or somewhere in that range. Just think about how many of those bullets that hit cars, hit windows, just flew around the community. How many innocent people could have been shot? There was some innocent bystanders that were shot, and that's really sad. But think about how many more there could have been when you have 182 bullets being fired right here in Brooklyn, New York.
And Tariq, that it's really crazy. And then they said across 10 precincts, there were all these different neighborhoods from Coney Island, and the DA said their basic attitude was it's Coney Island against everyone. And this is the area that they operated in. You can see it's the 5-9 Brim, and there are two sections or sets within the 5-9 Brim in Coney Island, according to the DA. The Coney sides, which are the older gang members, the FOG, which are the younger members, according to the district attorney. But Tariq, when you see that there's like also older men that are involved, yes, there's teens that are out there pulling the guns, but when you see that there's older men involved with this as well, what does that tell you? Is this a generational problem?
Well, that's what I was just about to say. Obviously, this is generational. What you're seeing here is that they're following the lead of uncles, cousins, fathers that came before them. And that's one of the problems we see consistently in public housing. We see the same families being problematic every year. And so the young people that come up and their uncles were involved, their dads were involved. It's sad that these young people, these young men didn't become involved as well. So not surprising to see that many gangs have an older set and a younger group, and the younger group usually calls themselves something different. But right now, the amount of young shooters that we're seeing is really alarming.
And then let's take a listen, Aisha, to some of the Brooklyn District Attorney Eric Gonzalez. He was explaining and showing more of the map throughout all of Brooklyn. Let's take a listen.
The video is chilling. I'm going to just direct you to the left side of the screen. There's going to be two men walking. On the right side of the screen, they're going to be the four shooters. Let's play the video. Those are the two men walking. Those are the four men on the right side. They see each other. You see the two men start to backtrack. Now the shooting starts. And you see one of the shooters is now fallen to the ground. Let's watch it again from an alternative angle. There come the four shooters. They're wearing masks. All four of them have guns. We allege that two of the men are Taekwon Holmes.
If you see this idiot, the guy who pulled out his gun last, he the one who got killed. Looked like he got killed. Bro, if somebody is running up on you and everybody around you has already put out their gun, which he probably was high or drunk or something. But if everybody with your group that already pulled out their gun, why are you either run or you shoot? They got the drop on bro. Bro stands there and tries to look at this fool. This guy right here. He pulls his gun out. There's already shots being fired. And bro's trying to be Rambo. Bullets are going past him. And he's like, yo, I'm going to pull my gun out and shoot somebody. And got smoked. Look. So shots were fired right there. He ain't even pulled his gun out yet. He going to try to run towards the dudes who were shooting at him. Now he lets one shot off, knocked down. And then look at your friends. Them your boys, right? Them your boys, right? They gone. You're dead. Them is your boys. They left your ass right there. The enemies could have did anything to you. Could have took your booty, kicked you, did whatever. Come on, bro. Come on, bro.
We allege that two of the men are Taekwon Holmes and Tamari Kimona, as well as two other FOG Coney Island, Coney side members.
I think they
see during the shooting, one of the men who was shooting is in fact shot himself. He's shot by so-called friendly fire. He's shot
friendly
in the
fire.
back of his head.
Whoa!
His friends see him fall to the ground
and run off
and continue to run, leaving him to die.
Tariq, when you look at that video, once again, it looks like it's in a NYCHA development there.
Absolutely. And what it makes me think about is thank God that we have the NYPD here and how much worse this problem would be if we didn't. When those shots are going off, those cops are driving right towards danger, running towards danger. We even saw a video by the DA where right after the shooting, they grabbed one of these guys and took the gun off of him. So can you imagine what this problem would be like without a proactive department?
Bro, he got shot. Dang, you was right, Christian. You was right. Christian was right. He said it looked like one of his own homies shot him. Nah, dude, come on, dude, guys. This is what people giving their life up for, which is crazy to me. But I'm telling you, bro was dumb anyway. If your boys if you've been in any game, once your friends start shooting, that's not the point. That's not the point where you pull your gun out and start shooting. Once they start shooting, your job is to get out the way so they don't accidentally kill you. And that's what he didn't do. Hey, Christian was right. Bro was 100% right. Your job is to get the hell out of the way so they don't accidentally smoke your ass. I wouldn't even say his boy shot him. Like, it wasn't even his boy's fault. This fool ran in front of the gunfire. If you look at it, why are you okay? You're supposed to be backing straight up like they did. He's running. He's like strafing to the side. He runs right in front of his friend's gun. So he got one homie there. Look, he ran right in front. Oh, yeah, you're right. He ran right in front of him. You're supposed to just be backing up in a straight line, bro. Yep, shot him in the back of the head. Damn. So right here. Boom, got him. Yeah. He almost got shot before. Right there. I thought he got shot. Oh, he did. So did it take a second for him to react to getting shot? Because it looked like he got shot right there. And then he let off a shot, and then he falls back.
We allege that
they just ran off on bro. Yeah, these guys have no. Listen, they got no type of training with guns, weapons, none of that. These guys are absolute morons. Like, you got to understand who you're dealing with. and like I said, dudes be high and everything else out in the streets. You know, even if you're trained, right? Dudes be drunk, high, on perks, on fentanyl. Come on, bro. Shout out to my boy Noble Young. But guys, listen, I hope you enjoyed this live stream. Everybody in the audience, if you've been here the whole time, get this live stream a rating 1 out of 10 on how well you liked it. I'm getting back into the hang of things. I took a couple days off because I had to do something with my camera situation. So let me know if you liked it. I'm terrified of suspect. That's why I'm going to pay somebody to beat him up when he goes to jail. But, okay, so y'all enjoyed it. All right, so we're going to get out of here, but we will be back tomorrow around the same time, around like 12. And I got some short form videos coming y'all way too. So let's handle our business, y'all. Thank y'all so much. Shout out to my boy Sticks and Stones LA for the $5 holler in the Cash app. We did not hit our goal, so it does not look like there will be a Skid Row field trip. But I'll give you guys the opportunity tomorrow to hit that goal again. And hopefully we can get the field trip going. Let me see. Maybe I didn't check Cash App. All right. Shout out to my boy J Doug. He said $5 for harassment of the homeless. And shout out to my boy Sticks and Stones. Appreciate it, bro. Not Sticks and Stones. Sucker Season LA. Thank you, brother. And hit me up, bro. We need to go get a coffee or something. I'm feeling it. I'm feeling a little tired. But thank y'all so much for watching this. I appreciate everything y'all do. I'm going to end this live stream and start working on some other videos that I have to do. I got to play a little bit of catch up. But please like, share, subscribe to the channel if you have not already. We are on the, we're just on the path to greatness these days. I like that. I like the sound of that. Till the next time, take care of yourselves. But most importantly, please take care of each other. Peace.